Mustafa Shakir. Also joining us is actor Jim Belushi. We have actress Kate Hudson. Actor Hugh Jackman. And director, writer, producer, who probably did the craft services. Please welcome Brewer. Did I forget someone? I'm mortified that did I forget someone? No? It's for Elijah. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, good idea. If I have your permission.
I think too much.
Thank you so much for being here. Congratulations on a beautiful movie. This is primarily an audience of your SAG-AFTRA actors. So I also love to go back to the beginning and ask, how did you get your SAG card? What was the job that brought that to you? And Craig, for you, I'd love to know, when was the first time you thought you could call yourself a director? Did you do short films or?
Party of Five.
It was Party of Five?
Party of Five. I got my SAG card, yeah. I played the girl that took Michael Gorgon away from Nev Camp. Well, not really, but I attempted. And then, yeah.
Hugh, for you, I think I might know you.
X-Men.
Yeah, it was X-Men.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that wasn't fair.
So obnoxious.
I know.
But it almost didn't happen. I'll tell a quick story, because as I was going in, I'd been given the part, but my papers weren't done, and I was going into Canada, and it was like Midnight Express. I'm sweating. It was terrible. I'm going in, and he goes, "So what are you doing here?" And I said, "I'm auditioning." And he goes, "Huh, it's funny, because you've been here twice before in the last week. So what's this, another audition?" I said, "No, I got the job, I just have my papers." And he goes, "Get in that room over there." They took my phone away, and they said, I know at one point I went to make a phone call to the studio, and they said, "Give me your phone, you're one step away from being sent back." And I thought it was all over.
That was a Canadian?
And after about an hour and a half, the guy pulls me over and he said, "What's the deal?" And I said, "Well, I'm here doing a thing, this is called X-Men." He goes, "What?" I said, "X-Men." He goes, "What, like animation? Are you an animator?" I said, "No, they're doing a real life version of it." He goes, What are you playing in it?" I said, "Wolverine." He goes, "You're Wolverine?" And I had a passport in 5 minutes later.
You're Canadian.
I'm Canadian.
You're Canadian.
I was gonna say, I imagine that poor man, like 2 years later, like, sitting in a movie theater somewhere and being like, "Oh my God, that's the guy I tried to keep out of the country."
I owe my life to him.
Jim, for you?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I was an extra in The Fury.
I love The Fury.
And I got fired.
Really?
Yeah, I was a pussy extra. There's a scene of me on the beach walking in front of Amy Irving, then behind her, in front of her, and then behind her. I made the second day, and De Palma saw the dailies. "Who is that guy? Get rid of him."
Wow.
So yeah, I got fired, but I got my card.
Fisher, for you?
I was in a horror film produced and co-written by these two brothers in Lake Tonawanda outside of Buffalo, New York. These brothers' names were Harvey and Bob Weinstein. And it was a horror film called The Burning.
Oh!
And, I got my fingers chopped off and ultimately slashed in the face. Thanks to Harvey and Bob, I got my SAG card.
Ella, for you?
I don't remember which film that it was. There was a film that I did called Touchback, which I actually talked to Kate about. Kurt Russell was in. Very random. But I do know there was another one that was some strange journey of a kidnapping of a daughter, and I was the daughter's friend. It was really just a negligible role. I
You were
don't.
great in that.
Thank you so much. It's a cult classic.
Mustafa, for you?
A show called New York Undercover.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about agents or managers. I got it based on a referral from a theater job. So I didn't even know about a STAG card. I got the money and they were like, well, the lady was like, well, do you want to put your money towards SAG? I was like, what's that? She's like, well, you have to join this union. I was like, pay you $1,800 for
That was a lot of money, man.
like, I was 18, and she was like, "Well, let me run it down for you." And she gave me the skinny, and I was like, "Okay." Gave up my money, and I had to borrow $150 to go with it. But then when I got that residual check,
Yeah.
I was like, they give it right back. Nice.
I was like, how did she convince you? I thought maybe she offered you screeners or something. Craig, for you, what do you sort of consider your first job in this business?
I guess if I were to say what's the first job I got paid for, because I was making feature films in Memphis, Tennessee on digital cameras and doing films there. But really, I have to say, I just remember the day that John Singleton came to me and said, "All right, if you want to be in a guild and you want to get paid and you want to get some health insurance, then we're gonna have you need me to sign sign you into the DGA, and you need 2 other people. I'm gonna have Bonnie, I'm gonna have Casey Lemons, and I have this really fantastic 3 signatures." And so that was for Hustle and Flow.
That's amazing. And you were mad at him about X-Men?
It was a special moment for me. Absolutely.
Well, since you invoked Hustle and Flow, I was telling Craig backstage that is one of the movies that actually captures the creative process. And now Song Sung Blue does the same thing. Because, you always see those fake versions of how people come up with songs, but really getting to see the process in this movie is so amazing. When did you first hear the story of Lightning and Thunder, and what made you see it as a narrative film?
Well, I saw the documentary in 2009, and I always try to say this. There's this whole world of films that go to really obscure film festivals, and sometimes you'll make a film or you'll be in a film, and then you go to the festival and there's 5 people in the audience, and I was one of those 5 people in this audience because I love Neil Diamond, and out of all the films, it said it's about a Neil Diamond tribute band. And then this story started to unfold with this couple, and I kind of became obsessed, and I got in touch with Greg Coase, who had made the documentary, and then for years, really, it was this ever since 2009, and I had already made 2 films, but it wasn't really until Dolomite Is My Name that I thought, okay, I'm gonna try to make this movie, and it was very hard. I mean, luckily I had 2 great producers, in John Davis and John Fox, and we went to everyone in Hollywood, and they all said no. That they even were very specific as to why no. They were like, no, it's no one's gonna really be that the audience would be way too depressed. And
the audience was not depressed.
It won't be inspiring, so I really got to give it to Focus for they were the only ones that said.
It's so joyous, but I can see if you just read the breakdown of it, maybe you would be like, oh, that's dramatic, but the fact that you infuse it with so much joy and life, really, did you always see it that way?
Yeah, and I think that it got me angry. And by the way, it's since got me angry. I've been in a couple of meetings where a couple of studios are like, well, we had no idea. And I was like, well, yeah, but you said the same thing about the pimp rapping too, and maybe you should talk to the writer and the director and see what he wants to do with it instead of just kind of reading a log line. But I mean, I understand there's a lot of uncertainty in the world right now with what to put energy behind, but I knew that it was just something that I just felt that it was a movie that I hadn't seen in a while, that we used to have a lot of movies, and I'm a kid of the '80s, and so I know this sounds like maybe too silly, but like I know sometimes movies from the '80s are made fun of, but they were really working class films. I mean, like Purple Rain, Footloose, Flashdance. I mean, is there anything more dramatic than in Pretty in Pink than when, like, you know, Molly Ringwald is telling Andrew McCarthy, it's like, I don't want you to see where I live. You know what I mean? We used to have a lot of movies like that, and there just hasn't really been that in a while. And so when I saw the story, I was like, this is, I swear to God, I know how to do this.
Are you tired of proving people wrong? That must get old at some point.
No, it doesn't. You never stop having to fight for it.
I want to talk to the actors about how they came to these roles. Hugh, Mike is such a complicated figure because you're not playing only Mike in his daily life, but his stage persona, which is completely different. How did sort of the preparation for each role differ between Mike and Lightning? And I'm imagining you're shooting the same thing on certain days. How as an actor do you keep track of all that?
Well, Craig really helped, and I think actors all know. You have to sort of, in some ways, you have to map it out, and then you also have to be a little bit loose. But finding Lightning, I guess, was in a way the first way into Mike, because that was his dream. And it's something I guess I have in common with Mike. I love performing, he loves performing. I, in some ways, feel most at home on a stage, like Mike did, and I've been lucky. I have had so many opportunities, and he was frustrated. Like, his big dream was just to be on stage, and it's all so I had that in common. I think that was the first way in, and then I did sort of a lot of work about his background and Nam and Vietnam and being a tunnel rat and addiction and how he came through it, and also what was different for me is playing someone who had an awareness of a health condition. Like, he had a dodgy heart. He actually had many heart attacks. And so he was living with a ticking clock. Like, I had this huge dream, and I don't know how long I have. And he had no leg up, and he had to really grind. And so I think all those things really helped me get into him, and I just love him. I love this underdog spirit. I love the fact that nothing could deter him. I love the fact that he was just dreamed so huge, despite the evidence in front of him. And also the love story, I think, that came out of it. But Craig really helped me a lot. I loved working with Craig, and Craig included me before he'd even written the script, and I just got on the phone with Craig. He was telling me about the story, and I just knew. So he didn't have to convince me, and I'm surprised. I'm really surprised.
Yeah, I am too, honestly.
That all the studios said no, because you've got that Pied Piper ability.
Did you have I don't know if you guys know this, but he's not from here. Did you have like an existing affection for Neil Diamond? I don't know if you were. Okay.
Oh, have we got any Aussies here? Any Aussies? Always, yeah.
Prove it. Throw boomerang.
Aussie.
Oi, oi, oi.
If you guys want a passport, that's all you have to do, by the way. In the 70s, so I'm born in 68, and Hot August